Hello, vinyl community. Welcome back to the channel. I'm just going to keep pumping out videos today. This will be the third one I've done today, so I changed the shirt so it doesn't make it look like it's the same day. But in this video, I'm going to go through a stack that I got at the little record fair that they have in Stratford, Ontario, a little bit north of where I live, not very far. Nice drive. So I went there 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. I took my record bag from Red Cat Records in Vancouver and got a decent little stack. And then after I go through these, I'm also going to show you my stack of shame, my warped pile. Uh, that's what happens when you get too excited when you see a record at a good price and you don't look closely enough at it, and you end up with a warped record. So we'll get to those later. Right now, let's get to what I got from the record sale in Stratford. Starting off, Van Halen 2. My particular favorite Van Halen album. For me, this is the one that I listened to the most, the one I liked the most. I didn't grow up with this one. I grew up with Van Halen 1 and Fair Warning and Diver Down. This one I didn't really get into until high school when I went out and bought a copy. This one was 15 bucks. It's got a signature on the front, not a big deal. It's a little chewed up on the top. I don't know whether somebody had an animal that kind of gnawed on that a bit or what happened to it, but overall the cover's not terrible. But the vinyl itself is perfect. It is super, super, super clean. It does have the signature on the label as well as on the cover. But that doesn't really bother me. I mean, I've spoken about that before. It's not a big deal for me. Yeah, it's not going to take away from the sound of the record. So that was a nice find for 15 bucks. Yeah, a nice, super clean vinyl of Van Halen 2. And the inner sleeve is also perfect. Whatever was chewing on the cover, it didn't chew through to the inner sleeve, so the inner sleeve is actually very, very good. So I was fine with that. That was the first find. That was actually from Boxx Records in Mount Elgin, where I've talked about their stuff before. I've showed some things that I bought from there before. And I've got a couple of other records in this stack that are also from Boxx. The next one up is Exception Classics. Exception is a prog band that are very, very classical music driven. Pretty much everything they do is a borrowed adaptation of a borrowed piece from classical music, which I really like. So, and again, it's a perfectly clean copy. This was from another seller. I believe he's out of Hamilton, Ontario, if I'm not mistaken. I bought stuff from him before at other record sales, and he usually has some pretty good psych and prog kind of stuff mixed into all his regular stuff. So, and this was 10 bucks for a very clean copy. I don't see a lot of Exception records around at the sales or in stores, so again, that's another one I was happy to get. And that same seller had a copy of the first, I'm assuming it was the first Teagarden and Van Winkle record. I spoke about these guys before because they're the only other band I've ever seen on the Westbound label. So I had another one of their records. I don't know how many they put out, but again, this is on the awesome Westbound Records label. I haven't listened to either of them yet. Haven't gotten around to it. There's been other stuff I've wanted to listen to or needed to listen to before this, but this is a very nice, clean copy. This was another one with the deletion punch hole in it, so one that just didn't sell, so didn't get a lot of plays. And I picked it up for 10 bucks. Whether it was worth 10 bucks, I don't know. I didn't look it up on Discogs or anything to see what the value of it was. I want it because it's on Westbound. And I'll give it a spin when I get a little more time to do that. Next up, this is some Another one that came from Rockbox. Rockbox were at this sale in Stratford. Rat Invasion of Your Privacy for $10. A very nice clean copy. There's a bit of checking along the edge, but not bad. The back cover is clean. It has the clean inner. So, although that's a pretty boring, I guess it's not a very exciting inner sleeve. One side is completely blank. I don't know what the point of that is. But the record itself is also very clean, and it was $10. And then once I got home, I discovered, oh yeah, I already have a copy of that. But this one is an upgrade. This one is definitely in better shape than the other one that I had. So this will be getting swapped out. The other one will be getting sold. This was another seller at that show in Stratford. This was the only record I bought from him, I think. There might have been one more. Oh, there were a couple more. Sorry, I take that back. But this was the one that really kind of... This is one I'd never seen before. Yeah, the Kevin Ayers, who was another member of Soft Machine, so I'm kind of into that kind of stuff. And anytime I see it, I try and pick it up. But I had never seen this double edition. Kevin Ayers' Joy of a Toy is a pretty well-known record. So, an album from the Harvest Heritage series. So it's Joy of a Toy, and it's also Shooting at the Moon. So I ended up with a 2-for-1 deal because trying to find Kevin Ayers' Joy of a Toy at a record show or even in a record shop is tough. And again, perfect clean copies. So that's one that I had been looking for, not in this form. I was looking for Joy of a Toy, the original, on its own, but I'll take 2-for-1 because again, it's one that I haven't seen around. I've been keeping my eyes open for it and I haven't seen it. So when I saw this and a second Kevin Ayers record, I thought that's probably as good as I'm going to get, at least for a while. And it was marked down to $20. So that was a deal. I took that. Another one from Rockbox, Fastway, with Fast Eddie Clark of Motorhead fame. People might remember Fastway from the movie Trick or Treat, if you're old enough to remember that, kind of a heavy metal horror movie. But yeah, this one is just in really good shape. Quite often, if you see this one, it's beat up. It's got a little wear on that corner, but not bad. In general, that checkerboard cover is in pretty clean shape. The inner sleeve is good. The vinyl itself is very clean. And again, it's perfect. It is, looks like it's unplayed. It may be unplayed. I don't know. But it's a great looking copy. And I may keep it, I may not. Sometimes I've listened to it once and I was like, yeah, it's not quite what I remember. But the last time I heard it, I was probably 17. So things kind of change a little bit over time. Still not a bad record. This was a crazy good find. Again, from Boxx Records in Mount Brydges. Yeah, an original copy of the 598 EP. Cover, as you can see, very clean, no warp. Just a really nice copy. The vinyl itself, it's got a couple of light scuffs on it, but very little. Like, it's really surprising how good a shape this was in. And it was $25. I thought it was a mistake. I couldn't believe it was only $25. I know it's just an EP, but it's a pretty rare EP, and in this shape, you could easily have asked double that, and people probably would have paid it. Yeah, so this one got played a lot when we were in high school, endlessly. I had it, but it was a cassette copy, so it could take a lot more wear and tear. If I had a vinyl copy, I'm sure it would have been beaten. So that was really nice to find. This was from the same guy I got the Kevin Ayers record from. More theme from Mondo Kane, Kai Winding featuring Kenny Burrell. So it's surf jazz, I guess. I haven't listened to it yet, but I just saw it. It's on Verve, but it's kind of surf and it's kind of jazz. So I'm not sure what to expect from it. I am going to give this a spin very, very soon. This is at the top of the must listen to list. Um, and I'm guessing it'll be an interesting combination, an interesting pairing here. Um, and it's in decent shape. It was $10. It's something I've never seen before. I wasn't even aware it existed. I was just flipping through the stacks that this guy had, and that was in there. And I saw Kenny Burrell. That's pretty cool. And then, yeah, it was a surf thing, which is also pretty cool. So once I listen to that, I might go and do a little review of it because I've never heard anybody even mention this, not even speak about it. So that's one that will be coming up soon. And yeah, it was marked down to $10. There it says 15, I think, or 25 even. So that was another decent deal. Another weather report record. I don't know how many records there are in the weather report catalog, but when I see them, they're usually at a pretty decent price, $10, some between $5 and $10, and you can pick up a decent, clean copy of a weather report record. So if you like that jazz fusiony kind of stuff, if you like Wayne Shorter, yeah, this is worth it. It's kind of, I guess I call it focused listening. You're not just going to throw it on in the background. It's kind of something that takes a little more focus to kind of pick up and appreciate on it. But yeah, it's a nice clean copy, which you would want from a weather report record. And yeah, it was a great price. I've probably got six weather report records now. And I'm guessing there's still more out there. Weather Report had lineup changes over the years. At different times, they had different people, but yeah, Wayne Shorter was kind of the guy who ran through the whole thing. And this was recorded and mixed by Bruce Botnick, who was the Doors engineer, and ended up producing L.A. Woman. Next up, $15. This was from that same guy that was out of Hamilton, Ontario. This is Curved air conditioning. So, sorry, it's hard to tell which is the right way up. Oh, there it is. Curved Air, I've got a couple of their records. Another prog, I guess they're prog. Yeah, I guess that's the closest thing you can compare them to. The best category to put them in is prog rock. This one is older than any of the other ones that I have. This is 1970, Green Warner label, in VG to VG Plus condition. It's quite nice, and yeah, it's interesting music. I don't know how else to describe it. It's interesting. It's prog. It's prog that's a little bit more experimental than Yes or even King Crimson or something like that, but still very enjoyable and not, difficult to get into. This last one was, I don't know anything about this. Sunday Funnies Benediction. I paid $15 for this. Two reasons why I bought it. One was the cover. It's an interesting cover. A girl with black wings sitting on a motorcycle in front of a strange looking mountain. The back cover is also pretty interesting. But this is on the Rare Earth label. And the only other band I knew that was on Rare Earth was Rare Earth. So I'm hopeful with this one. Hopeful that it's going to be along the same lines or similar sound to Rare Earth. It is in very good shape. It's got a couple spots on it, but not bad at all. The release year is 1972, so it's been around as long as I have, and it looks a little bit better than I do. So I will give that a spin, and yeah, I'll go back through and maybe do a little review on some of these ones that we're not so familiar with. Now the cover does have a split in the bottom, which is a little bit depressing. Now, this is something that was interesting to me because I had just, well, now I've just finished saying that this was the only other band I'd known on Rare Earth Records. And then there's this inner sleeve that tells you everybody that's on Rare Earth label. So, Meatloaf, Stoney and Meatloaf. Didn't know Meatloaf had a partner before Bat Out of Hell days, but evidently Stoney and Meatloaf was a thing, and they were on Rare Earth Records. So there's a few other ones on here too. The Cats, don't know them. Sunday Funnies, which is the same band, so they've got another record here. Brass Monkey, yeah. There's a few other odd ones that I'm not really familiar with. R. Dean Taylor, yeah, I don't know. So if anybody else is familiar with anything else or anything that's good on the Rare Earth label, let me know. I'd be interested in finding some of that. But yeah, that was it for the Stratford Record Show. It was a small show, not a huge number of vendors, not a huge number of people, which was really nice. You had room to move around. Nobody was crowding anybody else, and you had time to talk to each of the vendors as well. So that was a really enjoyable show to go to. Now, that's enough about that. Let's move on to the pile of shame here. This entire stack right here. Every one of them. I bought them, and then when I got them home, I realized, oh, they have warp. Some worse than others. Some really, really bad. This XTC that I got when I was out in Vancouver, I thought $3 for white music XTC. What a deal. And then I noticed it's got a crazy, there must have been something sitting on one edge. This edge right here, I don't know if anybody can see that, but it's got a little, and it's even got a little divot there where something was sitting on it. But I just kind of slid it out 2/3 of the way and said, oh, that's really nice and clean and good. And I should have taken it all the way out to get a good look at the whole thing. Even if I had a vinyl flattener, I'm not sure that could save it when it's got that little divot mark in it. So we will have to wait and see on that one. Next up, I found this really nice copy of Duran Duran Rio in the shrink with a perfect inner sleeve, no splits in any side. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is an upgrade from the one I have. This is a record I really like. And then when I got it, it's dish warped. So maybe with just putting some weight on it, some books, it's not an edge warp, it's just a dish warp. But still, I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. So that is maybe a future project. A cheap copy of Diamond Dogs that I got for $5 at a record sale a while back. And yes, dumb me got all excited that was a copy of Diamond Dogs for $5. And I take it out, and it's got, right on the one edge, it looks like a ramp. I'm sure it's next to impossible to see when you're looking at the video, but yeah, it's there, trust me. So that's another one. See, I get too excited when I see good deals and I don't look closely enough. Now this next one, I knew it was warped. I took this on as a project. I tried many different methods that people had talked about online. So this was a copy of Steely Dan Can't Buy a Thrill. Obviously, there's been water damage at the bottom. The cover is kind of wailed on, but I was thinking, it's $1. It's Can't Buy a Thrill for $1. How can I beat that deal? And then I took it out and I went, holy Lord, it is very, very warped. Like, I've never seen a record so warped in my life. The next step would just be folded in half, I think. So I tried heating it up a little bit, like using the sun to heat it up and having books on it. I didn't do the oven and glass method. That kind of scares me. I'm afraid I'm going to cause more damage than, you know, than it's worth. So this one I kind of, yeah, I knew it was not likely that I would be able to fix it, but maybe with a vinyl flattener. See, the idea is eventually, if I end up with enough really badly warped records, I'll end up buying a vinyl flattener. Or I guess I could try and find someone else who has one and pay a couple of dollars for each record and get them fixed as well as can be done. Um, but I wouldn't mind having a vinyl flattener. There's some other records in my collection that have light warp that doesn't really affect play, but if I had the vinyl flattener, I think I would take the time and, you know, take any warp out of there that I could. Um, Next up is a copy of U2 Live Under a Blood Red Sky, which I had this on cassette when I was in high school. Really enjoyed this. This was a nice little, basically a greatest hits package, live greatest hits package, early greatest hits package. But again, it's got one of those odd warps that's just in, something's been sitting on it. So it really affects, because it's all yeah, it's one of those kind of things. It really hits a dip when it hits that spot, and then of course on the other side it's throwing your needle up in the air, so it's not, it's just not possible to play it. I mean, once you get past the first two tracks, but it's not a full length album either, so you're going to lose half the album by skipping the first two tracks on each side. So that's another one for the flattener if that day ever comes. This one I should have known, because you can kind of feel a little warp in the cover. This is a very nice, clean looking cover, but it does have warp. But I was hoping it was just, you know, okay, it's been sitting in the wrong place for a while. Super clean copy, like super bright, shiny. And the inner sleeve is very nice, but oh, you can feel it. You can feel the curve in this thing. So I should have seen that. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you can't see that, but geez, it's not good. But it is a super clean copy. That's why I thought. I mean, I wasn't aware of the warp. I just got excited when I saw a super clean copy of Computer World, and I'm gonna have to try and fix it. That's what all this is about. Justifying buying a vinyl flattener. And hopefully they work. If anybody out there has experience using the vinyl flatteners, any vinyl flatteners, please let me know how it has gone for you. Was it worth the money? And how much time it takes? And yeah, because before I buy one, I would really like some insight from people in the VC that know about these things. The next one, a $10 copy of Midnight Oil, Diesel and Dust. I say, oh, that's a good deal. Well, it's more like diesel and dust in a dish, because, yeah, you could use this to serve chips at a party, especially at this one edge. It's got dish warp through the whole thing, and then it's got this lip that comes right up. So it's, again, one of those ones where you're going to lose the first couple tracks at least if you're willing to play it at all. But again, nice clean cover, clean vinyl. And I didn't look close enough, so this is a warning to everyone. Look closely. If it seems like too good of a deal, sometimes it really is too good of a deal, because yeah, they might be just discounting it. Now you think if a seller was aware that it had a warp issue, they would maybe put that on, you know, on a nice little sticker here and say, oh, you know, this is marked down because it's badly warped, or it has some kind of a warp to it. But I haven't had that experience yet. I've had records that say as is, or not the best condition, but not about warp. This one I got at a local antiques market. I thought, okay, if you want blood for $16, this one's just got the wave going through it. Again, you probably can't see any of this, but it's a nice copy. It's a decent copy, but it's just kind of messed up. that was my fault again. Um, I got excited. It was a AC/DC with Bon Scott, which for me is the only singer. I'm not a Brian Johnson guy. Um, after Bon Scott, Brian Johnson, I liked Back in Black. I mean, Flick of the Switch was all right, and but most of the stuff, like Fly on the Wall and all that stuff, is just not for me. Um, so yeah, let me know in the comments. Are you a Bond guy or a Brian Johnson guy? Um, but for me, it was always Bon Scott. So I was excited to see this, a decent copy, and I should have calmed down a little bit and looked closer before I spent 16 bucks on this record, because now I'm going to have to invest in a flattener to save it. Um, Now I've got a couple from my brother's record collection. Oh, this, oh God, you can feel the curve in this thing. This is his copy of Scorpions Blackout that he's had since it was a new release. We used to listen to this all the time, but holy Lord. I don't know what the hell happened to this. I don't know if somebody tried to heat it up and turn it into a piece of art, but they turned it into a piece of something else. It is wildly warped. Like, I was excited when my brother kind of said, "Okay, take my collection and sell what you want and do what you want with it." But oh man, there's no way in hell anybody's playing this thing. But again, it's a very nice, clean copy. It's a. So I would really love to be able to save it. Um, Blackout is the Scorpions record I grew up with. Love It for Sting a little bit, but Blackout was always more of a personal favorite. But yeah, just when I picked it, you can feel the warp through the cover. That's how warped it is. You can feel it doing this. So it's kind of disturbing. Um, Also, his copy of Led Zeppelin, Coda, which he had from the time it was a brand new release. Um, and yeah, same thing. These must have been sitting near the heat somewhere, because right through the heavy cardboard outer sleeve and the heavy cardboard inner sleeve, you can feel the warp in these things. I didn't pay for these ones, obviously, but look at that. Like, it's beyond. I don't know what you have to do to make a record warp like that. It's good lord. It's almost like it's flattened it as well. Like, it's heated up and been flattened. So even if this was put through the vinyl flattener, I don't know whether it can be saved. So that's just, I'm glad it was Coda and not one of the other records. Um, I wouldn't really miss Coda that much. Although I don't think it's as bad of a record as people say it is. Poor Tom's a good song. Walter's Walk is a good song. There's some good songs on it, but it's not Houses of the Holy or anything. Um, but I would still like to be able to save it if possible. Um, yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. What else have I got? Oh, this one I just bought not that long ago. I got it. It says 1999. It was actually on for half price, so it was 10 bucks. It's another Curved Air record. Air cut from Curved Air. Nice clean sleeve, in good shape. Thought, okay, there's not going to be anything wrong with this. Took it out, took a quick look at it. Yep, looks good. And then, 90% of it is good until you get to this little dip here, and it looks god awful, and it's unplayable. Um, I mean, track 1 and probably part of track 2 on each side would be unplayable because of so much warp. So that's another one. So see, I don't learn quickly. I just keep buying records that I think are a good deal when I haven't looked closely enough. Take the record all the way out of the sleeve. Let people get bothered when you're at record sales and pulling stuff out and checking them 100%, because hey, you never know. The warp could be hiding in that last little bit that's still covered up by the inner sleeve. So take your time, look closely. Unless you already have a vinyl flattener, then maybe you can go out there and get all kinds of good deals and not have to worry about it, because you can take them home and flatten them. And then the last one I have is this copy I got of Monk's Greatest Hits. It was a later 70s pressing. The cover was nice and clean, front and back. I slid it out. I took a look. It was good. Yeah, it was, it is spotless. But then once I put it on the turntable, you could notice the dish warp in it. So again, I didn't heed my own. But the dish warp is kind of tough to tell. You can't see it so easily. So I don't feel so bad about missing that. But those ones with that big, massive edge warp, where somebody's had a stack of books sitting on top of them, on top of the record collection, that's on me. That's all my fault. So yeah, once again, if anybody out there in the vinyl community has any experience with a vinyl flattener or a bona fide vinyl flattening method that has worked time and time again for them, I would love to hear about it. Because, well, obviously I need one that's going to work for me, because I've got a stack. So I could take the time and try and save a few of them. I don't know if I'll be able to save all of them, but it would be really nice. Yeah. I hope I have learned my lesson by now. I mean, I've got a dozen or more records sitting there that I have warped that I've spent money on, and I can't even listen to them. So the record show in my hometown is coming up a week from today. So I'm going to remind myself before I go there. Okay, take every record out, inspect it, hold it up, check for flatness, not just scratches and scuffs and cover condition and things like that. I really need to watch for the warp. So I'm going to try and learn from my own mistakes finally. And yeah, that's almost it for today, but I want to do one more thing. I went just middle of the afternoon yesterday. I had a bit of time to kill between doing other things. So I went to my local record store, Record Works in Woodstock, Ontario, and looked in. They had a bin at the front of the store that said, in this rack, everything is 50% off the lowest marked price. And what was showing is like, there's not really anything I'm interested in, but I'll flip through it anyway. So I start flipping through, and one second. I pulled out these two records that I had never seen in the store before. Now, it looked like they had been in the store and on display at some point in time, but I somehow missed them. And then they had been marked down and then put away and brought back out and marked down again. Jane, German krautrock, prog rock band, early 70s, on the Brain label. So that's what I don't understand, is if I had ever seen anything on the Brain label up in the store at any time, I would have at least looked at it. Now, this was marked at $100 originally. It's a super clean, super minty copy. There is not a mark on this thing. Yeah, I haven't played it yet. But I cannot see any possible way that there's going to be any noise on this thing because it is super clean. It was marked originally at $100. Then it was marked down to 60. Then it went back into storage. So then they brought it back out yesterday and put it in this 50% off rack. So I got this copy of Jane on Brain Records for $30 Canadian, which is like free in US money. And even the cover, there's a little bit, it's got this laminated sleeve, there's a little bit of the plastic lamination is starting to peel there, but it's still there, it hasn't chipped away. Same here at the top, there's a little bit, but the cover is, it's one of those soft European covers, but it's still completely together, completely clean. All the corners are good, the spine is good, and the vinyl is perfect. So I was like shocked by that. It's kind of weird because I was just watching Robert Fithen's channel. Anybody who's part of the VC probably knows Robert Fithen. Um, Always an interesting watching his videos. He's a little intense, but I like that about him. But he was just talking about being in Germany and being in the one store that had an entire Brain Records section, and he picked up a few things from there. And I was just thinking, God, I'd love to be able to find some stuff like that around here. And even when I was in Germany a couple of years ago, I didn't find any. I was just looking in the wrong places, I guess. But then I go into my local record store, and there's two of them. So that was the first one. That's Together, by the way. And then I got another Jane, Between Heaven and Hell. This is on still on the Brain label, but a different Brain label, a later Brain label. But again, this cover, spine is perfect. Back cover, front cover, no ring wear. The inner sleeve or the inner gatefold rather, is perfect. The record's in a little bit worse shape, but still probably a VG plus, and on the famous Brain label. And yeah, German, somewhere between prog and krautrock kind of thing. Yeah, really, really excellent musicianship, and to find two records on the Brain label in excellent condition in my hometown, but I go all the way to Germany and I don't find any. That's just weird. Lucky, but weird. So that was two really good finds at my local record store that I just, right place, right time. And lucky that somebody else who doesn't have, knowledge of what Brain Records is and how rare they are, and to find these soft covers in this good of shape is really, really surprising. That made me very happy. And there was one other thing I got while I was at the local record shop. Beggar's Opera, Act 1 for $10. Beggar's Opera are a British psych prog kind of band. This cover kind of freaks me out. It's kind of trippy. Kind of disturbing. Looks like something out of a weird Fellini movie, or some low budget horror film. Especially when you see the front cover and the back cover, like this whole thing. Tell me that's not just creepy. Like I'd have to sleep with this in a different room if I was a kid. Yeah, but a really good record. I did give this a full listen yesterday because the vinyl's a little, to the naked eye, it looks a little rough, but it sounded pretty good. Again, it's another one on Verve. Verve signed some eclectic kind of bands back in the day. So it's a decent copy. It's not a great copy, but it's the first time I've seen Beggar's Opera Act 1, and it was in my local store for $10. So I snapped that up. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Jane Between Heaven and Hell was originally marked at $60, then marked down to $40. Then it was on the 50% off rack yesterday, so I got it for $20. So I got these two records for $50 Canadian on Brain Records. It's a crazy deal. If you know, you know. And Beggar's Opera, also a nice little find. So that's my deals of the last month and a half anyway. And sometimes it's in the place you least expect. I thought I would find German psych and prog in Germany. Nope, I find it in my local record store. So that's probably it. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for this video. I've got other stuff to talk about. A couple more buys that I've made recently. Buy on Marketplace that I made that I got a good decent amount of records from, and just local small buys as well. And then of course I've got the record show coming up on this weekend, so there'll be another video coming after that. So there'll be at least one more full-length video coming soon, and then another one next week. But anyway, until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you all the next time around.